Several areas in North Riding in Randburg were warned by authorities not to drink household water. This was because Johannesburg Water said there may be contamination from a sewer line that was damaged while they were trying to fix a water line. But joining us to tell us more about this in our studios in Johannesburg is the spokesperson of Johannesburg Water, Dhludhlu. Dhludhlu, good morning to you and thank you so much for coming through.
Good morning and morning to the SABC viewers.
Thank you so much indeed. Just first put us up to speed as to what actually happened. How did this happen?
Okay, just in the main, just to alert the viewers and also the residents of North Riding, what really happened yesterday was our team was on site. They were busy fixing a water pipe that was leaking, and while they were doing that, they happened to then mistakenly break the sewer line, which was parallel to the water line. So we then assume that there may be a possible contamination of water. Hence, we then sort of commissioned samples to be taken from both the reservoirs in Cosmos City and the reservoir in Honeydew, just to check if there is any E. coli bacteria that entered the system. And the results came back last night around 2100 hours, which indicated no bacteria was found in the water, and the water is clean so far.
All right, so it means that the residents can still use that water, because I know that you've also received complaints from the residents in that area complaining about water.
That is correct. However, we still caution the residents that are affected by this, possible infection, that as we still call it a possible infection, because we still believe that it's only 3 streets which are affected by this, which is Boundary, Spionscope and Oriel streets. So as Johannesburg Water will continue to provide water tankers in those 3 streets, it's mainly the about 10 plots that are affected by this possible contamination, which came back negative last night.
Yeah.
However, we are saying we are waiting for the second samples, which were taken yesterday during the day. Then those results should be coming through this afternoon latest. That will then confirm if the first sample results are true, and then we still caution to say those that still feel uncomfortable can then access the water through the tankers.
But have you received any complaints from residents who might have been infected by the contaminated water?
Not yet in my knowledge. We have alerted the residents as early as we got the information on Tuesday night, and also yesterday morning we tried to inform the residents, and those that we also believe that are possibly affected by this. Our teams have been on site, have gone to the sites and also informed the residents themselves, went door to door and informed them to say what is happening about the water, and also alerted them about the negative implications of that. However, we are also continuing to say people that are residing within the North Riding area shouldn't panic, because it's not the entire North Riding. Anybody else who resides outside those 3 streets, they can still use the water without any...
But you're saying that you're also providing water tanks to them until you receive the second test. Is that what you say?
That is correct. We only provide water tanks to those 3 affected plots. 3 affected streets, which affect about almost 10 plots in that particular area.
All right. And what's the state of affairs in terms of the fixing of the pipes? Has everything been sorted?
Everything has been sorted. Actually, I've drove past there last night and the team were actually closing the holes. So everything has been sorted. Both the sewer pipe and the water pipe have been fixed. So we should be, and both pipes were also flushed with chlorine as well after they fixed it, before they've closed them up. So just to ensure that anything else that may have happened to leak into the water system, and then the bacteria die in there. But for now, we still caution them to say you can use it for anything else. You're washing your cars, you're gardening, or anything else. But for consumption purposes,
they shouldn't.
Please wait until we confirm the second sample this afternoon.
And this afternoon. So yes, the test will be out. The results will be out this afternoon.
That is correct.
But how often do you come across such incidents as Johannesburg Water?
It is a once in a while kind of an incident. Remember the way the water pipes are installed on the ground. In some cases you find that the water pipe runs parallel to the sewer pipe. In some cases, you'll find that the sewer pipe is below and the water pipe is right at the top. then they will have, separated by a level of couple of meters of sand or soil in between. So it's a very rare occasion that happens, but it's a human nature, kind of an incident that happened, which we apologize to the residents that are affected by this, and we also appeal for their patience going forward to say we should be able to take extra care, caution, making sure that all the people are not affected by this kind of incidences.
But in terms of your infrastructure, I know that with many cities they complain of aging infrastructure. Talk to us about your infrastructure. Is that up to speed?
Aging infrastructure it's a challenge that I think is facing the city. But however, as Johannesburg Water, we have a plan on an annual basis, whereby we then identify areas whereby we say this year we'll then be able to replace a particular kilometers of pipes. And then we're sticking to those plans currently. But remember, as the utility of the municipality, we have about 12,500 kilometers of sewer line that is below the city of Johannesburg, and about 11,500 kilometers of water pipes that are also lying beneath the city. So we're trying to manage that infrastructure, but at some stage we also appeal for people's patience, because to replace the pipes, it requires us to close the water, so it's not a simple process, because all our work happens underground. So there needs to be some digging that needs to happen. Then they need to also ensure that they don't touch any other municipal infrastructure that is underground, because it's not only our pipes that are in there. There are some telecommunication pipes that are also lying there. So there's a lot of work that needs to happen. So as and when we have all these outages, people need to understand that we need to then, if there's a leakage, for instance, we need to then close the nearest reservoir or the nearest hydrant to make sure that there's
no contamination. All right.
Close the supply.
We'll leave it at that. But Isaac, thank you so much indeed for coming through. But I assure you, of course, from Joburg Water that no bacteria was found in the water. But of course, residents should use the water for any other household reasons except for consumption. So if you're staying around North Riding, please make sure that you do not drink that water. Johannesburg Water is providing water tankers in that area. Let's take a break here on Morning Live. When we come back, we'll be speaking to SCOPA chairperson Themba Godi on the SASA and Post Office issue. Stay tuned.